everybody. This is your girl, Wong Lorene. We have a phenomenal show here for you tonight. We definitely want you to subscribe and share this video. And if you're a wildcat, I got something for you. Be back in 30 seconds. All right, don't forget to like and share the video. It's on and popping.
Jody, come and ride with me, get fly with me. Let me show you how it's supposed to be. Do the most with me, make a toast with me. Let me show you how it's supposed to be. Jody, come and ride with me, get fly with me. Let me show you how it's supposed to be. Do the most with me, make a toast with me. Let me show you how it's supposed to be. Let's make a toast for the one.
Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Wong Lorene, and we're here live right here on After the Show. This is at my home studio. We're still doing our New Music Mondays every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. So don't get it confused. We're doing the New Music Mondays, and on this particular show, I interview entrepreneurs, community leaders, leading ladies, and phenomenal women. This one that I have on this show tonight, you guys better get ready because it's going to be on. Some of the things we're talking about is going to cover history. It's going to cover present times. She's going to let you know what's happening. Y'all, I'm talking about Dr. Evelyn Bethune.
Hey, old wildcat. How
Listen,
are you doing, sister?
I'm doing wonderful. I even changed the little banner. I don't know if you can see the little maroon over there by your name.
Yeah.
So I gotta say this first though. We're wildcats. That's right. Bethune Cookman College or Bethune Cookman University.
Absolutely.
We're both graduates, right? And Evelyn Bethune is the granddaughter of Dr. Mary McCloud Bethune. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I wanted you guys to know who you're talking to. But let me tell you something about this lady's accomplishments, all right? She was one of the first Black students at the University of Florida inducted into the University Student Hall of Fame. That was in 1994. She was phenomenal woman in 2015. Most influential women in business for 2012 and 2014 by the Daytona Beach Business Journal. Managing member of the MMB Project, which we're going to talk about tonight. Amazon bestseller, my sister, published author, radio program host. Yeah, look, I'm tired. Motivational speaker, top 10% of her class, who's who in American colleges in 1994. And I didn't even get through the whole list, okay? But I wanted you all to know who we were talking to tonight. So who is Evelyn Bethune? Who is Dr. Evelyn Bethune?
Mama, well, first, I'm the daughter of Albert and Elizabeth Bethune. My mother was a cosmetologist. In other words, y'all, she did hair for a living.
Yeah, I remember her too.
Salon. Yes, but she was one of the smartest women that I have ever known. Well-read, and she raised her children that way.
Yes.
My dad was the best daddy ever. He was Mary McCloud Bethune's only child. And so there are 5 grandchildren. There are 3 of us that are still are still living. Two of my brothers passed away.
Yes.
And so there's myself, Robert, my brother, and Sarah, my baby sister. And we
Yes.
grew up in Daytona Beach. You know, we grew up running
Yes.
around on a college campus.
On Second Avenue.
You know, that was our playground.
Yes, yes, that was your playground. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what my growing up taught me was entrepreneurship. My mother owned her own business.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all community activists. As
Mm-hmm.
children, we used to help put up signs to tell people to vote. My dad drove us all over the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were his children, and he wanted us to understand and value civic engagement. So we
Mm-hmm.
learned that at a very early age.
Yes, yes.
You know, we
Most
also
definitely.
learned to give back. That it's
Yeah.
important to give back to the community,
Mm-hmm.
and not always be a taker.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's what centers us, and that's what we do. It's on our DNA. We can't help it.
It is. It is. Well, you know, as you know, I grew up with two of your brothers. In fact,
Yes,
Hobson was my first love. Uh,
yes,
rest in peace, Hobson. Rest in
yes.
peace. Also, shout out to my sister Jackie. Today's her birthday. Happy
Oh,
heavenly birthday to
hey,
you, dear.
yes, hallelujah.
Yes, yes. But
Girl, we're probably turning it out up there, okay?
yeah, I know that's they probably having some fun. So
Oh, goodness.
let's get into the meat of this interview. I wanted my audience to know who you were because you know, a lot of people don't. So I want to make sure that we cover that. Now, let's talk first about History in the Making Coaching Network.
Coaching Network.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
what is that about?
that is a new venture for me. I participated in Success Fest 21. And my participation was based on the fact that I am a motivational speaker. I travel. I do a lot of talking about my grandmother, and also about how people can be, you know, good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But I never formalized the aspects of my coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor Ott said to me, he said, "I'm talking to you, and you don't have a foundation to put this in.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to do that." So we formed History in the Making Coaching Network. And it's based on the fact that our history is great. It's what anchors us.
Mm-hmm.
But we throw it away. We blow it off. We don't really grab hold of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where our strength is. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't throw away your foundation. You build on it. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have a strong foundation as Black people. And our
Yes.
people have survived some of the most heinous crimes against human beings on planet Earth. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the plan was for us not to be here, and we still are. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have to understand our greatness and build
Mm-hmm.
on that. And so we say greatness is on our DNA,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't help but be great.
Yeah. So
Once we understand who we are. And so that's what History in the Making Coaching Network is about.
and that is a great idea, and you're the perfect person for it. So what if a person doesn't understand that their DNA is all of that? What if they don't understand? So how do you coach a person through this kind of thing?
Well, the first thing we do is help us understand that our history didn't start on a plantation. That's the first aspect. Because normally when people start to talk about Black history, they start by talking about our enslavement.
I do, yeah.
Right.
But
That's not
okay.
where our history began. Remember, they came and got us from somewhere.
Oh, okay. You're absolutely right.
Our existence did not begin in South Carolina getting off the boat.
Yeah, they came and got us from Africa.
Exactly. And in
Okay.
Africa, we were doing great things.
Isn't that
We
something?
built the pyramids. Okay. We did. Black people.
Yeah.
I tell people, remember, Egypt is in Africa. It's not a separate continent. Africa is a continent, not a country.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Exactly. And they also don't understand that Egypt is a part of Africa. And during that time period, Egyptians were my complexion, darker. And so when we start to understand our history in terms of where we came from, the oldest human remains known to man were found on the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
And so humans as we know them were
Right.
African from the beginning.
You know what? That's really something to think about, though. You have to think about before we were brought to these places to be slaves.
Exactly.
So that's where the whole concept of realizing what your DNA is. So if you realize that, you can raise above a lot of stuff.
Baby, listen, we discovered math and science. Okay, we were astronomers. We were sailing boats. Okay, we were doing all kinds of things before Eurocentric folk were standing up straight. They were still in the cave while we were doing things. And so we have to understand that people have made us feel inferior by destroying our history.
Yes, and continuously do it. They're still trying to do it.
One of the greatest battles they're fighting right now is critical thinking about racism in this country. Because if you start to think about 1619, okay, when we came here under a whole different concept. We came on our own. We came across continents. We sailed boats. The Moors didn't get to Spain, okay, by being dropped from a helicopter.
Yes.
Okay, and so we have to understand the dynamic of who we are, and that people try to destroy your history so that you don't understand how great you are.
And they succeeded in so many ways.
Yes.
But that's why your coaching efforts are really, really needed. Now, are you guys? Is it a local thing, or are you trying to get it all over the state of Florida?
We are virtual. We are anywhere you want us to be.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks to technology, we can be anywhere. Okay.
Yes. I definitely hear you. Well, you had some really interesting stuff in your bio here, so I want to make sure that I get to this. I want to talk about, you talk about a term, fleeting moments of insanity. Unpack that for us. Unpack that. What does that actually mean? Fleeting moments of insanity.
It means that we are all crazy at some point in
time. Awesome.
Okay, we all have a crazy moment.
Yeah.
And some of us push through it. Some of us get stuck in it.
Yes.
And some of it, most of the time, it comes out of fear and desperation.
Yes.
When people are desperate, they do irrational things.
Yeah.
And sometimes can't even understand why they're doing what they're doing. And so we have to be able to recognize that we all have those moments, but it's how we react to them that will either make us stronger or destroy us.
Yes.
And we can't be afraid to say, I need some help. You know, Black people, we don't go to the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
We self-medicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually do, but but yeah.
That's the only thing. Okay, because listen, you know, there are times when
I got an appointment next week, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once you understand that sometimes you need a third party to talk to that's not connected to the madness.
That's doesn't know anything about what you're talking about what you're giving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you need that voice to help you reel yourself in, and also to help you get back to your sanity.
Right.
And understanding that this is a moment, it's not a forever.
Exactly. So what would you say to someone that's not like you and me, that that doesn't get outside advice from a psychiatrist or some type of counselor, whatever,
who are depending on their gossip circle to help them?
Right. But yet they're still trying to find their self-worth. So,
what I
so,
say to them
so,
is,
so let's
how is
talk
that
about
working
that.
for you?
Yeah.
I say, how is that working for you? Okay.
Y'all telling the wrong people because they not together either.
Listen, I can't tell you how to have a great marriage if I don't have one.
If you don't have one, you
If
can't.
I don't have a man, I can't tell you how to find one.
Or how to keep them.
If I'm broke, I can't tell you how to keep your money and manage
No,
it well.
exactly.
My dad
Exactly.
used to tell us, if you want to make money, hang around people that have money.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if a
Yes.
whole bunch of broke people are hanging out together, they can't do anything for anybody.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you snub people. It means that you raise your standards so that you can learn something.
Yes.
It's like going from one
Absolutely.
grade to the next. You don't
Hmm.
want to get the same information in fifth grade that you got in first grade.
No.
And so if
No.
you're trying to move forward, you need to be around people who can help you get to the next level.
Yes. And then
And
that's what you would tell a person that maybe pose that question to you. How do I find
absolutely,
out my self-worth? How do I find out my path? Because that's what it's about now. Knowing
absolutely.
it's too much information out here for us not to know that all of us have gifts. God put us all here for a reason.
Yes.
You gotta
But
know
one,
that
one,
that's
you grew up in a culture where people read books, okay?
yeah, yeah,
Where people, well, it didn't matter how much money you had books at your house.
definitely.
Okay. And even in the projects, they had encyclopedias, even if they had to share them.
They
And
sure
so,
did.
thank you. And people relished education.
Yes, yes.
It's different today.
We wouldn't
People don't,
even think about not going to college after high school. That wasn't even
baby,
a
listen to
thought
me. There was no hesitation.
at all.
Today, our kids relish acting out. They
Yeah,
relish a crowd watching them act a fool. They like walking around looking like they just got out of the bed.
yeah.
House shoes, bonnets, pajamas at the Walmart.
Hmm.
That's cute. My mother would
Hmm.
have killed me. You know, our mama
Girl,
couldn't let us walk around looking like that.
no, we never would have got out the house.
Baby, look here, okay? Because first of all, you didn't represent yourself. You represented your family.
Yeah, and the whole block.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And the neighbors could put you in check.
yes,
Today,
yes,
the neighbors are just as bad as the kids are.
yes.
And so they don't have somebody to say, what is wrong with you? Do you know how you look? They don't have that because
They
everybody's
don't.
doing the same thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
they
they think
don't.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Babies
yes,
all come here the same way. Everybody. When the baby is
yes,
born, is fresh. The baby
yes,
is what is poured into it after it gets here. And so
yes.
if you are pouring garbage into the baby is going to be garbage.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing.
You better preach, Dr. Evelyn.
That's
So,
what
so, so, Evelyn, do you think that uh, uh, never giving up can be taught? Do you think it can be
absolutely,
taught? It can be taught.
absolutely.
Okay.
It's taught by anchoring people in faith and
Mm-hmm.
helping people understand. See, today we don't want to talk about God. We talk about God like it's,
The universe. The universe is what we say
baby.
now.
Yes. Well, for me, I talk about God and Jesus because that's
Yeah.
what saved me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I tell people when they invite me places, if I can't say Jesus and I can't say, the Lord God Almighty, I'm
Yeah.
not the one for you to bring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because until we understand that we are just a gnat on the back of a rhinoceros in a
Yes.
worldview,
Yes.
there is something
Yes.
so much greater than us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so once you understand that and you understand that faith is real, when I
It,
look at Bethune Cookman University,
you
that
know
is
it.
the realization of faith.
You know it. You know it.
Okay, that's how I know faith is real. My grandmother built a college on a garbage dump.
Isn't that something?
With 5 little girls, my daddy, and $1.50. Now you tell me that ain't faith.
Oh, that's faith. That's faith. And we should all, with any of us from Daytona Beach ever want to give up, we should think about that.
All we have to do is walk on that campus.
That's it. That's it. But I want to say this, because you mentioned this also in your bio. You said that being the granddaughter of Dr. Mary McCloud Bethune has been a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
So how,
and that is a quote from my brother Robert. You know, when the twins graduated from high school, they went to the Marine Corps.
Yep.
And they went to the Marine Corps because they needed to get away from Daytona Beach and the shadow of Mary McCloud Bethune, so that they could find their own identity. You know, we grew up, our name was grandchildren of Mary McCloud Bethune. We didn't have a name.
Y'all didn't have names.
Right. And everything that we do or did is, you know, anchored in grandchildren of Mary McCloud Bethune. And so it's heavy lifting. And it's not just heavy lifting for us. Like Malcolm's children, Malcolm X, his kids, same thing.
Same
Martin
thing with
Luther King Jr.'s kids.
Same thing.
And so sometimes people wonder why we act out, why we're crazy. It's because it's heavy lifting. You got a lot to live up to. My grandmother was iconic. She was a world-renowned icon. I have not gone anywhere in the world where there was not something named
about
after
Mary McCloud. Yeah.
That's some heavy stuff. And when we were growing up, the expectations of everyone was that we were going to follow in that we would be educators, we would do this, we would do that, because what? Mary McCloud Bethune was our grandmother. My nieces and nephews experienced the same thing. Sammy went to the Navy, and some of them just disappeared for a minute and were off the radar because they just needed space to breathe.
Too much. That was too much.
Yes.
That's too much.
And so even in its greatness, and especially when you don't have a community of nurturers. See, my grandmother anticipated that what she was leaving behind were administrators and people who would care for what she left behind. Instead, they got caught in the hype. You know, it's like once you sit in the president's chair, it starts to feel good to you. And now you think it's all about you. And so there was a very contrived effort to separate Dr. Bethune's family from the university.
Oh.
Okay? Because if light shines on us, it might not be enough on you. They forget that God made the sun. It's enough light for everybody.
Yes.
But when you're selfish and your agenda is selfish, and you don't want anybody around. And first of all, when you get ready to do something that's corrupt, you don't want people around who care, because they're going to ask the wrong questions as far as you're concerned. And so accountability is an issue, because people who love Bethune Cookman are going to hold you accountable. They're going to ask the questions, and they want transparency. But when you're not doing the right thing, you don't want there to be transparency.
You don't want there to be transparency at all.
Exactly.
You know, I remember having conversations with my aunt, Dr. Alice Moore. She was on the board of trustees.
Yes.
And she would oftentimes, without saying really what she meant, a lot of times she would kind of want to say something like that. You know, like
she had signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, she could, but she could give you that side eye when you were on the right path. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, we grew up understanding that. We grew when my dad had a stroke in 1953, right after I was born. They retired him from Bethune Cookman on a $50 a month pension.
Girl.
Now he had worked at Bethune Cookman since he was 5. Okay, when he came to Daytona Beach with my grandmother, he was 5 years old, and he drove a wagon and sold magnolias on the beach side to help raise money for her school. So he started working for Bethune Cookman at 5. Okay, so they retired him with 4 children on $50 a month. Well, my grandmother at that time, she had retired from Bethune Cookman, and they really, you know, there were administrators who worked diligently to kind of keep her apart and separate from the decision making. And she was doing a lot of other things, but you know, see,
well, them people in Daytona, they something else now. They something else.
I had a conversation with someone who told me that every time they come to Daytona, they feel a spiritual illness that is so deep and dark that they can only be here momentarily.
You know what?
Because it is depressing.
Was it me that told you that? Because it's close.
In fact, it was a pastor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said he has asked God, why do you keep bringing me here?
Yeah.
And God said, because they need people who pray. But there is something dark here. And that's why people spend so much time gossiping and not enough time building community. You see, Bethune Cookman is anchored in the middle of the Black community. If it thrives, the community should thrive.
Yeah.
It did when my grandmother was living, because she made sure that it was connected. Everything was connected. When she brought people in, they came to the hood. They didn't have a meeting over on the beach side and drive through the hood on their way to the airport. They got to walk around and meet the people. The people got to come to the gym and listen to Count Basie. Okay, the people got to come on campus and hear whoever was coming speak. The community was welcomed. It's not like that now.
So, Dr. Evelyn, do you think this is a growing trend among HBCUs? Do you think, I know that's happening in our community, but do you think it's happening at Tallahassee, Washington? Same thing is going on.
And the reason it's happening is because we don't believe that when you don't believe in yourself, you believe that the power for your existence resides with someone else. When we didn't have access to someone else, we made our own stuff work. When we were growing up, the community was thriving. Everything we needed was right down 2nd Avenue and Campbell Street. Okay, we didn't have to go someplace else to get what we needed. Right. It was right there.
Everything was right there.
Exactly.
Right there. Campbell Street, 2nd Avenue. You could get it all.
And we made it happen. We were happy. Our children were smart. They were well-mannered. They understood how to operate in 2 different worlds, one white, one Black. They knew that when they were over here, they knew what to do, how to talk. They could transition. We were bilingual. We had one language for when we were home and another language for when we were out somewhere. We knew what to do. We knew how to make it work.
Exactly.
Our kids today, they can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag with intellect because they're not taught critical thinking. They are taught to be worker bees. They're in an educational system that does not teach them to be independent thinking. It teaches them to go along, to acquiesce, to sit still, to be quiet, to say, to not ask questions. That's what school teaches them. That's not how we were taught.
No,
Our
not at all.
Taught us to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Our parents taught us to be critical thinking and to be aware and conscious of what was going on around us. We knew what was happening in the news. We read books. We paid
Yes.
attention.
Yeah, we did. We did. So what do you think is going to change this for us? Or is this something that I guess we may not see it in our lifetime?
We might not, but we can lay the groundwork.
Yes.
And what I believe is that we have to help, first of all, our communities of faith, whether they be Muslim, Jewish, because we got Black Jews too, Protestant. We have to start teaching. Every church has space. Most of that space is not used a lot. They open on Sundays, maybe Wednesday for Bible study.
Oh my goodness.
There should be activity going on all the time. When our kids get out of public school, they should be coming to classes in the community that teach them about who they are, what our history is, why they should be proud of it. Stop telling them that math and science is hard. Can't be hard. We created it. Okay. If our ancestors could do it, we got many more resources now. They can do it. Stop telling our children that things are difficult, that it's too hard, that listen, we wouldn't be here if our folk didn't know how to live and struggle.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
When we came out of slavery, they didn't give us nothing.
In fact, they took from us. They never gave us our.
When immigrants come over now that they like, they give them everything.
Everything.
They gave us nothing. And we made something out of it.
But we were supposed to get 8 acres and
40 acres and a mule.
40 acres and a mule.
And all they gave us was Jim Crow and segregation.
Yes.
Okay. But we flourished anyway.
Yeah.
And so what I want us to start to teach our children is to stop being fearful, to stop living in fear, to have faith, to understand who God is, first of all. Because once you understand who God is, a whole lot of things change for you.
Yeah.
And so once you get that understanding and you understand the power that lies within you because of who your ancestors are, not in spite of them, but because of who they are.
Because of who they are. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you understand that if they can do it, I can do it too. Now, if my grandmother could start a school on a garbage dump, which was the only land they would sell her, with no money, $1.50 was no money, not even then.
Not even then. No.
Okay. 5 little girls, my daddy, and she says the greatest thing that she had was her faith in God. And today, Bethune Cookman
is a university.
And it's the second largest landowner in Volusia County. It put $782 million worth of money back into this community every year. That's what Bethune Cookman is. Now, if she could do that she didn't have the internet. Okay, she didn't have social media. What she had was the ability to walk around, ride her bicycle over the bridge to the beach, talk about her school, anybody that would listen, convince them to help her do what she needed to do. They didn't have grants for people that looked like her back in that day.
Right.
So she was a dark-skinned Negro.
She was.
Okay. Right.
Beautiful though.
Exactly. Yeah. But they weren't giving her favor. She said favor came from God, and he brought her everything she needed when she needed it. That's what her faith taught her.
Yes.
We don't have that today.
And this is the message that you're trying to get out.
Absolutely. And I say it everywhere I go, that we need to stop putting our faith in man, because that's not what's going to save us.
Definitely not. So
And it,
I wanna transition a little bit because
sure.
we're running out of time. But I
Okay.
did, because off camera we were talking about the new statue of your grandmother.
Yes. Yes.
So tell us about that.
Oh my God. Well, the journey for that statue has been almost 5 years. It's about 4.5 years
Hmm.
of getting legislative approval. They went through a process of deciding to replace a Confederate soldier, Confederate general, in fact,
Hmm.
who is in statutory hall that represents the state of Florida. Each state gets two statues,
How?
and Florida has okay, Florida has two,
Yeah.
and I am told that they're actually going to replace the other one with uh, possibly
Whew.
another African American.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But Mary McCloud Bethune will be replacing a Republican, listen to me, a Republican, uh, a um, a general from the Confederacy,
Uh-huh.
and the legislature voted on. Took them 2 years to vote on it to pass the
Hmm.
legislation.
Hmm.
Another year, we had to raise the money for the statue and select the artist. The artist is Nilda Comas, who is Cuban American, Afro Cuban,
Afro
um,
Cuban.
has been
Okay.
working in, she lives in Fort Lauderdale, but she's been working, she does a lot of her work in Italy, and she has a
Mm.
studio in Italy. Her work is world renowned.
Mm.
She was the only artist who applied for the job who could
Hmm.
carve marble,
Hmm.
and the only woman that applied. And she was selected by the
And
state of
she
Florida.
was so, well, praise God.
Yes. So
I
she
am so
studied
excited for
Mary
that.
McCloud Bethune. She said when she found out that she was selected, she said, I wanted it so bad because she was such an incredible woman.
She
And
was.
so she talked to us, our family. She studied her. And the statue that she has created is carved out of what they call Michelangelo marble. It was
Hmm.
taken from the same quarry that Michelangelo took his marble from. And in
Hmm.
fact, it is the last piece of marble that will come out of that quarry.
Oh.
Um, yes. And so it was carved and in Italy, and there was a blessing in July in Italy.
Hmm.
The statue was then transported to Florida, and it arrived this past Thursday. They did a what I call a drive-by of the university with her in the packing crate. People were lined up on both sides of the street,
Oh my
and
gosh.
students. It was so emotional. People were in tears
I
as it
know. I
passed by.
bet.
It was amazing. The
Yeah.
statue is white marble. It stands 8 feet high. It weighs 8,000 pounds.
Mm,
And the building where it's going to be displayed in Daytona is the Daytona Beach News Journal Performing Arts Center. And it will be in the lobby for the public to view. There's a reception on this coming Monday, private reception, where we all
mhm,
get to see it close up.
mhm,
And it's white marble, but she's holding in her hand a black rose,
mhm,
which while she was living, for her represented her students.
mhm,
And she got that on a trip to Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland, when they were just getting ready to put the United Nations together. She was the representative from the United States.
mm.
And she saw a garden of black roses. And she said it reminded her of the strength and beauty of her students.
Oh my God.
And so she's holding that black rose, and there's a stack of books at her feet that have the tenets of her last will and testament. I leave you hope. I leave you faith.
Mm,
I leave you a thirst for education,
mm,
racial dignity. All of that is on the books.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
then she's in academic regalia, which will
mm.
make her the only statue there in a cap and gown. And she's holding the cane that was given to her by Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
So she's in
Uh,
a cap and gown in this statue, on this
yes,
statue.
yes.
I've never seen.
It is, and of course she has her pearls on.
You have to send us pictures. You have to send pictures so that I can post them. I definitely, and so where's this fine arts building? And this has been built since I left, so I'm not sure.
Yes, it has. It's right on the riverfront. If you go straight down Mary McCloud Bethune Boulevard, which used to be 2nd Avenue,
right,
where it intersects with Beach Street.
Okay.
The Performing Arts building is right there on the river.
Oh.
And so there are actually 2 statues. One is bronze, and it was the mock-up, and it is going to remain in Daytona. And there's going to be a riverfront garden area right there. And so that statue of her will be there. The marble statue is going to Washington, D.C. in February. And that's when it will be installed in the in Statuary Hall in the Halls of Congress.
Wow, she is so deserving. So deserving.
Yeah. But see, that's once again that thing of faith. This little Black woman from Maysville, South Carolina. Maysville is the size of my living room. Okay, it's a little bitty place. That's where my grandmother was born. My great-grandparents were slaves in this country. And so we're not talking about something that happened 10,000 years ago. This was yesterday. When you think of it in the way that history is, it's a blink in the eye in time. And so we can't be told, don't talk about it, get over it. Okay, my grandmother is the epitome of what faith can do. Because she wasn't even supposed to learn how to read and write, but she did. She got an education.
She did. Absolutely. She did.
And then she went and taught others.
And provided and provided a place for others to get educated.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh man. So you know what? I knew this was going to be longer because I just knew it. And because it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. And this is homecoming weekend.
Yes, it is. Listen, you Wildcats are in the street. Girl, we are everywhere. There are people having their 50th class reunion. My 40th class reunion was last year, and because of COVID, we didn't celebrate. So we're celebrating this year.
Y'all celebrating this year. So is the parade tomorrow?
Parade is tomorrow. We have to be out there, I think, at 7:30 to line up. And so people are just excited. We are just really excited. Our football team is struggling. You know, they laid off right there, so they all fat. And coach fat, team fat.
Oh my God.
I told them they'll get it together by next year. It'll be okay.
Oh my God. So for those of you that don't know, this is where Wong Lorene grew up. This is my hometown. This is the stuff she's talking about. I know all the places. I know everything. So I'm just about to fall out this chair.
Oh girl.
Oh my God, Evelyn.
And I'm telling you, this is great joy. This is great joy.
Well, listen, we're going to have to wind this down, but it has been you have to come back on because I didn't even get into your finance background. Yeah, I didn't even get into.
I worked with IBM for a minute. So
I know. Right, so we're going to talk about that when I bring you back.
Absolutely.
But if you would, those pictures, when you all do the ceremony, if you could send me a few of those, I want to put these on YouTube.
So people can do that.
So people can see them. I'll do a nice little video, a 30-second video or something. Yeah, because this is all going on YouTube.
You will love it. You will.
Yes. Evelyn, I'm gonna let you get back in them streets, girl.
So listen, if people want to get in touch with me, it's Dr. Evelyn at greatnessdna.com.
Okay, say it again.
It's Dr. Evelyn, Dr. Evelyn at greatnessdna.com. And that's my email address, and they can find me, that way.
Okay, so Dr. Evelyn DNA. Now, is that your website?
Dr. Evelyn at greatnessdna.com.
At greatness. Okay.
DNA.com.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I put this in the chat. So when they watch the video, that'll be there.
Absolutely.
And you're on IG, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. This is how they can
get me on Facebook, Evelyn Bethune, or our talk show is Perspectives with Kevin and Evelyn, and that's on Facebook as well as YouTube.
Perspectives with
Kevin.
And okay, how about I put that in there too?
Okay.
So that way people can check out your broadcast. I certainly want to check it out. So how often are y'all on?
Well, we're just getting started, and we're on twice a month. We're getting ready to start being on every week. We're recording stuff and having fun.
Okay.
and so we're just, trying to make sure people are enlightened and have a voice.
Right. So if you all want to do anything virtual, let me know. I'll help you out.
Wonderful.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah, so we can do stuff. So because you guys can do stuff like this
to people,
in all over the world. So I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
All right. Oh, so it's been a pleasure. I'm going to put all this in the chat. I'm going to be getting the piece ready for you to send to you so you can show it to everybody tomorrow while y'all at the game or whatever.
I will.
So who we playing though? Who
are we playing? Alabama State, Alabama A&M.
Alabama A&M.
Yes, and we're hoping they don't drag us down the field.
Girl, I hope not.
But all I'm gonna say is our team might be struggling, but the band is strong and mighty.
That band is hot.
The band is killing it. They got 370 people.
Oh my God. That's huge.
Baby, the sound, it take them 30 minutes to get out the stands.
Oh my God. I'm sure somebody's gonna be putting it online. I think Sandra.
I will video that for you, and Sandra's gonna do. Sandra and I were at Bahama Breeze yesterday. Sandra and Fubi, we had so much fun just laughing and talking.
Yeah, I know she's in town, so so one of y'all send me some footage so I can put it. I
told her yesterday I was going to be on your show. She said, Lord, y'all Daytona people.
Daytona for life, baby.
Forever.
Let me go so I can wrap up this post-production, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the information. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for helping me realize what my worth is. Just being able to interview you and talk to you and stuff like that. So tell everybody what.
A phone call away, and God bless you. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. See you later. Hey, Wildcat. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Have a great one. Good night.
Bye-bye.